And welcome inside Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor as we get set to talk about the last Bruins couple of games, the Detroit game and obviously the one that happened last night. We're doing this on Wednesday morning, folks, because Razor's traveling. He is on Long Island, not in Long Island. On Long Island as the Bruins get set to take on the New York Islanders on Wednesday night, night before Thanksgiving. Bruins lose to Vancouver on Tuesday, 2-0 at home. A goal by Jake DeBrusk and then an empty net by Connor Garland, the only goals in the game. Before we get to that game, talk a little bit about what we've seen the last two games. Again, Detroit was the one before. We're going to remind you that Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly presented by our lead sponsor, Fazenda Coffee. Fazenda Coffee Roasters partners with cafes, bakeries, and restaurants to provide top-quality coffee through their wholesale program. You can also use their expertly roasted coffees at home. You guys know that. FazendaCoffee.com, FAZENDA, FazendaCoffee.com/Morning Brew, where you can find the Morning Brew blend, Morning Brew hats, Morning Brew clean canteens, or just some great coffee anywhere. They got so many different blends and roasts. FazendaCoffee.com, proud lead sponsor. You know what, Razor, we got a little special thing to bring up too, because it's the Bruins Centennial game coming up on Sunday. The Pro Shop at TD Gardner, just next to it, powered by 47, located off level 1 of the Garden, inside North Station. Biggest sale of the year is coming up on Black Friday. That's right, a couple of days. Fans that can stop by from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. score 30% off, and from 11:30 to 12:30, you get 20% off. There will be exclusive deals on Bruins Authentics, memorabilia, and people can enter to win Bruins tickets, signed items, and more. Fans can purchase a limited edition Centennial Game jersey, which will be worn December 1st for the Centennial Game. This true collector's edition piece is there to celebrate 100 years of the black and gold. If you can't make it down the Causeway, you can stop or shop online at bostonproshop.com. Pretty good looking sweater right there, Razor. Are you excited for the Centennial game, or are you just getting through this one, get through Thanksgiving, and then you'll be very excited? How do you work in that?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. Thanksgiving's front and center at this point, but I am, separate to that. I'm excited to see everybody in this jersey. I think it's cool. I think it's going to look cool on the ice. And then the day will be awesome. But right now, to be perfectly blunt, let's get through this Islander game with a 1-0 win and get to Thanksgiving.
Right, because it sure feels like that.
I'm mailing this one in. Like, this one's like, all
you
right.
have FedEx this one? You have
stamped? This is a FedEx game. Win 1-0 and go home.
All right. I'm good with that too. I am looking forward to Sunday. And by the way, folks, we have a very special Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor coming out on Friday. That has That's awesome. Big base on the Centennial game. Some of the guys that we talked with, a lot of fun. We just finished it the other day. RC is putting it together, so we appreciate that. All right, let's get right to it. Bruins lose 2-0 to Vancouver. The game before, Razor, they win in Detroit 2-1. They're not scoring a lot of goals still under Joe Sacco, but the eye test says it is better. In particular, structure neutral zone, structure D zone, structure on the PK. Is that enough to say to you, okay, it's not a silver lining type thing, but I don't love that they lost. They couldn't score against Van, but I'm okay with it because they did outplay them. They outchanced them by 2-1 in the game significantly. However, in high danger chances, they crushed them. It was like 18-1 or whatever. It was crazy. But in the end, they only, they didn't get any goals. But are you okay because of the eye test of being better, so to speak?
Yeah, I am for sure. I think this is the first time we've been able to really say that the Bruins dominated a game all season, and they lose. So go figure. That's hockey. That's the NHL. Of course, there's a caveat to all of this, but I love their game. I'm happy their defensive structure is there. I'm very happy, and we were listening to Joe in the morning at pregame skate and talked about wanting more pucks on net, wanting more shots, wanting more north type style. And we saw all of that against Vancouver. The shot first mentality is there. I think this team's needed that a little bit more over the last couple of playoff rounds. And so all of that is great, except for the finish. And I got to believe it's going to click for these guys at some point. And I'm going to keep saying that. And I think they've got a reprieve on this different way of, it's a little bit of a different way of playing. And I think we saw that last night where there was 3 or 4 or 5 different opportunities where the Bruins put the puck right on net and they're too close to the goal, or they haven't figured out where the rebound lays or where it's going to come from or where it's going to go. And they overplayed it or they underplayed it or they were just off the side of the net. I think when they get the patterns in their head and watch more video of where pucks are going and where they should be off of this rebound, off of this shot first mentality, I think that you can break the dam.
I also think you get too close to the net when you're pressing. You just do, because it's instinctual or instinctive for a skater, especially a forward, to think, I'm crashing the net. I'm going there no matter what. I'm not going to play outside. I'm going to play inside. And you just think the closer I am, the better chance I have. And to your point, sometimes 6 inches, 12 inches make all the difference in the world where you're backing up. The puck comes to you instead of going by it. Easy to say again, sitting in these chairs, but when you're so in it, and some of these Bruins, Razor, are completely in it, partner. They are completely in it right now. I'm going to go over some numbers with you in a second here. That's what you do. You just go to the net. You go hard in the net. Great tip by Marchand at the end. Great tip. Kind of through the legs. I will give a lot of props to Kevin Lankinen. I don't think he stole the game, but he sure as shit was great in the game. Does that make sense from a okay. He was he was great. And made the old cliche, made the saves that he had to, and then some that he maybe got fortunate on. But then I think nothing epitomizes the Bruins' struggles right now than Elias Lindholm shooting the puck after Brad tips it, gets stopped by Lankinen's left pad. And I think it hit the back of Marchand's leg. I don't even know if it made it through to Kevin Lankinen.
Yeah, no, that's it. We could go through a lot of their high danger chances and say, that I didn't see what Money Puck put up for expected goals, but it had to have been closer to 4.
You would think,
night.
right? Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you have to score. At the end of the day, it has to go in the net. At the end of the day, you can't have 1 goal through 20 games, 2 goals through 20 games, 3 goals through 20 games. That pace doesn't add up. But there is also a reverse to the mean, a work to the mean type situation where Morgan Geekie continues to get these opportunities. I don't see how he finishes the season with 4 goals. Like it just, if he continues to work and get these chances, like he just can't finish with 4 goals. So that's kind of, I think it's going to click and they're going to get breaks. Cause to your point, that Lindholm play, like that's just there. And there was 3 or 4 of them where the net's wide open and it goes off a stick and out. Like it was.
Yeah, who's the defenseman? Was it Brandstrom who got his ankle or his heel on a shot in the first period? Was it Brazeau, I think, that took the shot?
Right out of the building, like open net.
Yes.
And then Frederick's tip in the third that goes off his skate, like hits Lankinen's halfway up the back of his pad and bounces back out towards Frederick rather than in the, like, it's just, it was unlucky. There's times when it hasn't been, and they've had 15 shots on goal in a game, and you can't say it's unlucky or no shots in the third period. That's not unlucky. This scenario last night, they were unfortunate to score. They
were. Yeah, they were. Really liked the neutral zone regroup. Quick ups were better. I really liked the back pressure. And I thought for the most part, their breakouts were good. Neutral D zone was pretty good. We kind of tried to show a little bit of how the Bruins handled some pressure, D to D, some reverses, etc. I thought they did a pretty good job of that. So they gave up how many shots in the first period? My iPad just went down.
3.
Was that it? It was 3. And so they gave up 7 shots on goal between the third period in Detroit and the first period in Boston. Again, great. It looks good. It sure as shit is good to talk about.
Yeah.
But ... you want a goal. You want the win. Now, some numbers just to accentuate what we were just talking about. Zakin, his last 6, 0 points, 13 shots on goal, over 19 minutes average. Frederick, last 4, 0 points, 5 shots. 3 of them, Razor, came against Utah when he was 5 hits in that time. All right. 3 against Utah when he was moving. You could tell that he was excited with the opportunity you're playing on the energy of the new coach. He has had 5 shots on goal against Detroit, so he was active there. He just hasn't scored since he scored those 2 goals against St. Louis going back to 5 games. Morgan Geekie, the player you just mentioned, no points his last 5. He's got 10 shots in that time. He has been, in my eyes, more physical, which means he's moving his feet more. So he
is snake bitten, man. Holy,
he is. So then there's other guys too, McAvoy, Coyle. They need to see some secondary scoring. Yeah, they need primary
They
scoring.
need every scoring, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So have you ever had a player who's a real big time goal scorer, like a David Pastrnak, who's in a big funk, come up to you and say, as a goalie, what are you seeing me do or not do? David's in one right now, bud. He is, like we've seen him visibly frustrated. The angst kind of that look that he gets. I didn't see that last night against Vancouver. I think I saw it a little bit against Detroit. But you can tell that he's in one. He usually scores that slippery 5-hole goal. Now, Lankinen, I thought, got lucky on that. Hit the right pad, the left pad, and then he's flopping around like, me after a night out in college. He didn't look like he looked like a beer leaguer on that play. Right? But have you ever had a player come up to you and talk to you about it, to try and work his way out of it?
Not at the high end. You'll get some of the guys that are a little lower down chatting about it, but the big guys, they just go into their own they go in their own head and they grind it out. And yeah, even the one-timer's not really clicking for him. He had a couple good opportunities in the first to let it rip. He missed the net high on one and didn't hit a spot on the first one. Couple other opportunities and wristers, and of course in Detroit he should have had 5 or would have had 5 when he was feeling it and not in it. So I think he's just, I think he'll go to his happy place and continue to shoot pucks, and again it just has to click. We could say and debate all we want with the other guys, but David's not scoring 10 goals this season. He's just not scoring only 10 goals this season. It's going to get going. He's going to get hot. And when he does, this defensive structure and the new way of playing, I think really benefits him.
Do you see frustration from him like I do? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's there. I mean, yeah,
Normal, right?
It has to be there. If it isn't there, we should be worried. But again, guys work through that. I don't. It's not frustration like my career's over frustration. It's this is annoying that I'm not scoring frustration.
Has there been a player that has kind of reset his game more under Joe Sacco on the back end than Nikita Zadorov, and made himself more, the old less is more noticeable, so to speak? Are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, no question. He benefits with backtracking. Better backtracking, better neutral zone,
more layers, less chasing.
Exactly. He's just that's just going to fit his game. Just like Brandon Carlo, a big guy, a long guy, a stretch guy. He's going to benefit with those things. If he has to get out there and get chasing and get a little discombobulated in the defensive zone and not really know where guys are, that's where you get affected. So no question, the two big guys, I think Carlo and Zadorov primarily have benefited the most from the layers, the backtracking, and the neutral zone.
I thought I like the pair with Peak. I think that's the right pair for those guys right now. Just like I do agree, keeping Lowry and McAvoy together. Mason had that confidence. I didn't think he was bad against Detroit by any means, but I thought he was pretty good against Vancouver. Look, we know he's going to make the hiccups here or there, but his instinct, their desire for him to make that first decision quicker has been
I thought he did that.
To me.
I agree. And the other thing, they miss Hampus Lindholm a lot, man. They miss him back there. The left side had a lot of opportunities last night in Vancouver, and I think that hit this Joe Sacco mentality of shooting pucks and closing, and that'll help Lindholm when he comes back as well.
Going back to that Detroit game, I loved the Brad Marchand goal. I loved the, I had the post-game interview with him. I asked him if that was classic him. He said, yeah, that was vintage. I like how he turns the net, brings it to the front, and then just rifles it. Those are the kind of goals you hope. I mean, he's been working his ass off, but in general, that kind of, you got to see if Pastrnak can get a one-timer goal, like a Marchand gets that type of goal, then you're like, okay, it's there. It's still there. We know it's there. And that you think, hopefully, as Charlie McAvoy says, opens up the floodgates or the dam breaks.
Yeah, it really should. Man, it really should. It should break. And they can't continue to get shut out or only get one goal anyways. It's just and I don't know if we're going there, but the power play is better. But that's where you're like, okay, you need results there.
Let's go there. Let's
that. That's the 5-on-5 stuff was great, and you can continue to say, okay, that will come and that will work. But unfortunately, the power play is too far from that, and they have to score. Like they just do. They're just losing the special teams battle every night, even though the PK is good now. They lose it last night, and they lose the game because of it. They've got to find a way to get one of those in the third period.
Well, right. And to your point, and I just got to make sure that I'm correct. I know they scored a power play goal against Detroit. The Tyler Johnson.
It was 3 games in a row they'd scored the power play goal. Yeah.
Right. And therefore, 2 of those 3, they end up winning. The other game was what? Utah, if I remember correctly, right? It was the first game. Yes, it was. And the power play goal they scored against Columbus, I don't want to say it doesn't count, but to me, it doesn't really count the way that the team played. But against Utah, it's the game-winning goal. And so the Elias Lindholm goal. So that is, to your point, that is imperative. I feel like kind of play a little bit of, I still think they hold on to the puck too much. And then everybody knows eventually they're going to look for David for the one-timer where, he can hammer it from places where, most other can't do it from. But it's just too obvious sometimes.
You got to sell a little bit, even for the goalies. I feel like the goalies are getting over there a lot easier than they have in years past, which tells me they're sitting on it much more so. So you got to be a little more dangerous if you're on the other side.
Yeah. Bruins don't have a one-time option from the other side. Brad's not a one-time guy. No. Zach is not. Lindholm's a right shot, so he's not over there looking for a one-timer. Ideally, it'd be great to have another one-time guy, but I think you can make things happen with quicker puck movement. Don't get it and then go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Get it, move it, get it, move it, get it, move it. It's a lot different, and it opens up. Now, I know they moved Brad to the goal line, and he's trying to walk off the goal line more, trying to open up some ice. Hopefully, they can get into that rhythm a bit more, or that look a little more. That would be nice. That would be if they could refresh and revitalize that look, Razor, like a Graciano construction place, wouldn't that be nice? Should we hire Graciano Construction to refresh and revitalize?
Should be hired. He's got an opportunity. Put the name in the hat anyways.
There you go. GracianoConstruction.com is the place to go, or call Doug Graciano at 508-330-7589 to discuss what you're looking to do at your house. There's nothing too big or small for Graciano Construction. And the best part, they do it with pride and amazing professionalism. Boston and Greater Metro West and other areas in Massachusetts too. Give Doug Graciano and his crew a chance, and they will give you some great ideas as to what you might want to do. GracianoConstruction.com. You will love working with them. Speaking of love working with, RTN Realty is the same type of company. Looking to buy, sell, or lease a place in Mass, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire? Check out RTN Realty for all your real estate needs. Chris Gentile's got a staff of 16 agents and support people. They've got you covered for whatever you're looking to do. Reach out to Chris at C Gentile, Gentile, C Gentile at rtnrealty.com, or call him directly at 617-835-0845 for a no-pressure consultation. The real estate market is ever changing. You need someone you can trust and listens to what you want, not what they want. Go to rtnrealty.com. Tell them that you heard about a morning brew with Jaffe and Razor and Apex Entertainment. Razor, you are good with Apex Entertainment. And do we have an Apex most entertaining moment of the game? Last night, a lot of good moments, but anything most entertaining?
Jeez. It's hard when they don't score a goal, right?
I know.
I'm just Swayman didn't have to make it right at you. And Swayman didn't have to make any saves because they played so well defensively.
All right, here's an Apex question then. I got you. Do you start Swayman again tonight? Or do you go to Corpusalo?
No. Yeah, no. Corpusalo. Back-to-backs, the whole thing.
Joe Sacco wouldn't commit to it, but it had to be, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming he was just trying to be a little coy and just didn't want to get to that. But no, I haven't. The Vejmelka went back-to-back for Utah this week, but it's because they don't have any other goalies. They have a kid who's up who can't play or perceived can't play. I haven't seen it done anywhere else in the league. I think
you got to imagine Jeremy's going to play Friday night against the Pittsburgh
Penguins. and Sunday he gets the big game,
right?
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that.
There's really you can't play 3 and 4. That's for sure. You might be able to go back to back if a situation presents itself where you need points later in the year, maybe, but you're not going to play a guy 3 and 4, which means Korpisalo's playing tonight.
All right, so maybe Jeremy could go to Apex Entertainment in Marlboro and just relax and have fun, right? Because it's 100,000.
Play a little bowling.
Feet of pure fun. Yeah, exactly. A little laser tag. Work on
his, laser tag. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You could do that. All right, thank you to Apex Entertainment. Hand pass. The goal counted off of Connor Garland's. The shot was made from the point from Vancouver's Quinn Hughes. Quick release. It was an area play. Hit Connor Garland in the hand. He's a right shot. His bottom hand. Both hands were on his stick. The puck went, perfectly, fortuitously, if you're a Vancouver fan, to Jake DeBrusk. Were you okay with Jake DeBrusk? I know you don't love the welcome backs, but that was a worthy one, wasn't it?
It was, well, and it kind of made me chuckle because they had to split it.
I know, but it was like 75-25.
Yeah.
And a lot of Jake and a little bit of Danton. And by the way, I'm a fan of both those guys as people. They're tremendous. Yeah. Danton is great.
Dan's the best. Dan's the best.
That was I don't know if he got a welcome back his first time back to Boston. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, no chance. No chance. And I think again he had to kind of get one because Jake was getting it and they couldn't leave him out. Like it was a whole thing, right? Like that's why I don't like these stupid things because it's like, well, it's forced, completely forced.
So Jake DeBrusk gets the goal. It was funny. Jake gets the goal.
Yeah.
The Bruins take a moment to look at it. The goal on the call on the ice was a goal. They go to review, situation room, officials. They rule that it remained a goal, that there was no distinct motion with the glove. There was no intent. There's nothing in Rule 79. I've talked to 3 people now about this, inside people. And first of all, the feeling was from them that this was no goal or a good goal because there was no intent. There was not, but this is a real murky gray area, Razor. Very murky area. I do think this just hit Connor Garland's glove. I do. No. I don't think he tried to punch it. He didn't remove his hand. Look, you can remove your hand, raise your hand up to stop a puck from coming and not even bat it down, but you moved your hand to stop the puck and then it drops to your teammate and that would be no goal then. Even though there's not a distinct forward motion, it's a distinct motion with your hand. You agree? That's because
yeah. That's the rule. That's
right.
That's the rule right now.
But this was not. So this is a very gray area, murky area. And are you of the school that you'd like to just see it maybe more black and white?
I want to get rid of the hand pass altogether. Yeah, why
not?
Like it's a little antiquated. The game's fast now. You can't close your hand on the puck. You can't take that away, of course. You can't have the closing of the puck and the throwing of the puck. And but this stuff that's hitting gloves and going to other sticks, like the game's too fast, balls off the board, let them play. And let's not have any of this. And because again, if that rule was in place, we wouldn't have had a challenge last night. The reason we have this challenge last night is there's been plays that have been kind of borderline. And you're not quite sure. The Rangers just did it 2 days ago. We did on NHL radio with Cooley this week on Monday because it happened last week and it was top of mind. It's just get rid of it. It's not a safety issue. It's not a danger issue. There's nothing other than an annoyance to everybody.
And they've changed they went from a no goal off the skates. You can actually direct it as long as you don't lift it. I'm with you. And I think Barry and I were talking about it on and off air. Screw it. We want more goals. So use your hand or either that or go the other extreme like soccer or football if you're not in America. And if the ball hits you anywhere in the arm and stuff,
that's a disaster, right? Like but that's the black and white of it. And it's easy to do one or the other. And obviously the latter situation's way worse than the prior. So
puck over glass, it either hits the glass or it doesn't hit the glass.
Yeah.
So now let's do it with hand pass. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't think there was, at first I thought no goal. Then we watched it and I saw that there was no distinct motion with the hand. And he kind of brings his hand up and it hits his hand. The puck is going so fast, as you said, the play's happening so much. What is he supposed to do there? That is not the reason they lost the game, even though that was the goal that made it 1-0. I don't think it was the reason they lost the game.
No. I mean, they didn't score. That's why they lost the game. And I don't I think the challenge is a good challenge, but you're not
I think you got to challenge that. I do because
too.
it's
I
murky.
think you have to challenge it, but you're not like so angry that they screwed it up too. Right. Like it's one of those ones where you're not losing your mind because you thought it was so obvious. You just kind of seen plays off gloves to other guys and it didn't count. So let's see what this is.
Right.
And now there's a little more precedent set for the rule, but the next guy will know.
Exactly. Well, we hope. One other thing, and then we're supposed to have a guest coming on in a moment to join us here real quick, but I want to go one other thing. We are at the last game before Thanksgiving, obviously, Bruins on the island. The Bruins, from a points percentage razor, are not in the playoffs. Okay? Going into this game. They've got 23 points. Islanders have 21. But the Bruins are at 500, 10-10-3. They are below the Buffalo Sabres, who are at 548. They played two fewer games. Are you of the school of thought that this is a must-win game so the Bruins can get themselves into the playoffs? Then again, Buffalo's playing as well, so it might not matter. But, I mean, are you a believer of the whole Thanksgiving thing? Are the Bruins just close enough that I don't say it doesn't matter, but it kind of doesn't matter, the whole in or out?
Yeah, no, this one doesn't matter. And I could make the case, and I have made the case, that it's not going to – this is going to be the year that bucks that trend completely. Both sides, East-West, is basically everyone's 500. Even the division leaders haven't really pulled away, with the exception of Winnipeg and Minnesota. It's going to be so tight right down to the end that I don't think this Thanksgiving number matters this year at all. I think you're going to see 3 or 4 teams that aren't in, maybe technically by a percentage point today or tomorrow, get in.
And those teams that you're talking about, I made actually a note here in the East. I had Boston as the team. I mean, I guess the Islanders could, but I don't know what I'll know more about them after I watch them tonight more in depth. But in the West, it's the Colorados, the Edmontons, right, that you're talking about, that are outside in 500, or just, the other team that had huge expectations and has really been a major whoa is Nashville.
Yeah.
They're so far down. I mean, they can still make a run, but they're just above the Chicago Blackhawks with 17 points. They're 7 points behind Colorado right now for an opportunity to get there. So, but anyways, it's Colorado, Edmonton, it's the Bostons. There's a bunch of teams jumbled in that middle ground.
Yeah, there is. And yeah, in the East, it's even crazier. I mean, Florida's lost 4 in a row. Bruins are only 2 points behind Florida. So it's it's going to be tight right to the end. It really will be, I think. So this year, I'm not concerned about what Thanksgiving says or anything else. I think we'll look back and say, oh, there's 3 teams, 4 teams this year that it won't hold.
Yeah, no, I agree about that. Let's just look at where the Bruins are with regard to, this is maybe not unfair, but I'm going to ask you for eye test. Do you feel that this team looks different, not just structurally and everything, but looks different under Joe Sacco, a different energy to them, a different confidence to them, as we've seen now 3 games going on, 7 days or so? Where are you at with the coach?
There's a different energy. There's a different vibe around, and whatever was going on with Monty, you could see that it was different than this. It just seems a little happier. Again, that can be just the first week of a new coach and a new vibe, and winning 2 in a row. That always solves and makes things more positive, are those 2 wins in a row. But it feels as though guys have got a sense that they're all back on the same page. That's really what it feels like, is that everybody's back on the same page. And again, it's a simple thing, but it's the penalty kill. Everyone's going at the same time. It's the neutral zone. Everyone's on the same page again. And seems like the idea of just playing defense, the idea of focusing on defense has been reset. And that's given a lot of guys who played in this kind of a system and had that kind of mentality some comfort.
Oh, it's been good to see. And obviously they need to continue to elevate the game. Hopefully they work on their offense. You said tonight maybe a 1-0 victory, but I'd take a 5-0. I would. I'd love 5-0 heading into Thanksgiving.
5-4 or something even. Just let's go. Let's see some
Let's
goals.
go. Well, you want to talk about minor miracles. If both the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins bring a combined 9 goals, if that would be shocking. That would be earth-shattering and highly entertaining hockey. Speaking of highly entertaining hockey. All right, we have a special guest coming on right now, joining us, guy that I've gotten to know for the last, I don't know, how many years now?
About 100.
It's Steve Mayer. It's the president, NHL content, in charge of so many fun things. That's what I call you, Captain Fun, in charge of fun at the NHL. And one of them, hey, I know, isn't that great? One of them is, we welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, is the Four Nations face-off coming up. And I think this has been a big thing for you, for you, and taking a lot of your time. This, fans out there, they've heard of it. Let me just give you a couple quick details. It's going to be played in 2 arenas. It's going to be in Montreal, Bell Center, or Center Bell, depending on where you're listening, in Boston at TD Garden, from February 12th to February 20th, 2025. They're going to start in Montreal, and then they're going to move to Boston. So, Steve, as we welcome you into the show, and you just want to, we wanted to have you on for a minute here because it's Boston. We know that the tickets are just about to go on. So what are you focusing on right now as you get set for this event?
Well, what we're focusing on is what's coming up actually this week on Wednesday, or next week on Wednesday, December 4th. And that is what I think the fans are very much anticipating, the announcements of all the teams. Remember back at the draft, we announced 6 players from each team to kind of get us going. Those 6 players have now been out there for quite some time. And now the big question is, who will make the teams? So on Wednesday, in 2 separate announcements, we're going to announce Sweden and Finland, 2:00 in the afternoon, for your fans. You'll be able to see that announcement on SportsCenter on ESPN, which is super exciting. And we are doing a broadcast that will go around the world, so it'll be seen live in Sweden and Finland. What's really interesting, we were in Finland. We played global series games, and I got to meet with both broadcasters from Sweden and from Finland. What a big deal. You think it's a big deal here. I mean, they're super psyched for the event and for the announcement. It will air. The reason why it's happening at 2:00 and your viewers and listeners can watch it on ESPN is because it's in prime time in both Sweden and Finland. It's that kind of a deal. It's that big. So we'll have the announcements of those 2 teams at 2. Then at 6:30 on TNT in the States, preceding a doubleheader that night, we will announce both USA and Canada, and all of the teams will be announced. Now, I am sure that coming out of Wednesday, the bigger discussions and what you guys will be talking about is not who made the team as much as who didn't make the team. But that's okay. And that's what we want. Like, listen, our fans are the greatest, and they've got their favorites. They've got their favorite players, their favorite teams. Not everybody can make these teams. It's going to be a really tough decision for the general managers involved. But that's what's coming up this week. That's what we're super excited about. And that's probably what we're most focused on right now, just the coordination of getting the names and getting them to the networks and putting on shows and all the things that we do. It's something that will keep us busy over the Thanksgiving weekend.
Well, then, not to make you project or look too far ahead.
I knew this was going.
But what does the traveling circus look like when it moves from Montreal to Boston? I'm sure our fans will love to know what's going on, not just the games, but around the games.
Well, that's actually interesting. And we have the best events team in the business. And I'm so happy to work with, such a talented group. We're right now getting in event mode big time at the NHL. Remember, we've got our Winter Classic, which comes up on December 31st, Blackhawks against the Blues at Wrigley Field. and then we move into Four Nations, and right on the heels, right after Four Nations, we do a Stadium Series game in Ohio Stadium with the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Detroit Red Wings. So, we're deep in event mode, and this is an ambitious event. From the standpoint of there's just so many games, and we're going from city to city. And the tough piece will be the transition from Montreal to Boston, where we'll have advanced people going into Boston, getting things ready in Boston. There'll be one day in between, games on Saturday, games on Monday. But, we're used to doing, that type of turnaround, those type of events. And, we'll probably have between 100 and 200 people on our team in all aspects. An event has so many different aspects to it, from those who deal with tickets, those who deal with hospitality. There's the graphics that are in the buildings and in the cities and in the hotels. There's fan fairs and fan festivals, of which we're going to have one in Boston.
Outdoor or indoor or both?
Outdoor. We're
Awesome.
going to do something outdoor. And as you guys know, we take advantage. Listen, it's not an outdoor event. This is not an outdoor game, but it is in the middle of winter, and we're a winter sport, and we love to take advantage of the elements, and we find our fans like it. They don't mind just putting on the winter coat and having a good time, and we cater to do things that play well in the outdoor environment. So we are going to do something outdoors, but I will say, this is an exciting period of time for the league. When I first got to the league, one of the first events I did was World Cup of Hockey. And, my memories of World Cup of Hockey was just outstanding. And, it built and it built. And of course, storylines that we never expected with Team North America. And, and then, had a great final, just a great event. And I feel bad that we haven't had an international event since then. It's way overdue. The players, oh my goodness, the players are so into this. And I've heard what everybody said. It's not Four Nations. It's not World Cup of Hockey. It's only Four Nations. Fine. It is a precursor to what I think is going to be an amazing Olympic event, which comes next year. And then we will get into a regular rotation of international events, bring back World Cup of Hockey, having the Olympics on a regular basis. I think it's very important to the NHL, very important to the NHLPA, and our networks. Everybody is really so excited to be able to televise this event. There's a lot of buzz. It's going to be great.
You had a lot of cities to choose from. You look at Montreal and Boston, and you're like iconic hockey cities and everything, but you had a lot of other cities that you could work with as well. For our fans, because we're a Boston centric show with regard to, obviously Boston Bruins talking everything, but why Boston? What was the deciding factor there, Steve?
Yeah, listen, just a great melting pot of people from all the Four Nations. An amazing hockey town, is, of course, we did look at, cities that could support an event like this. An international event is a bit different. It is. And, it's not always going to be the United States against Canada. It's going to be a USA-Sweden game, USA-Finland, and we're going to be mixing it up. There's Sweden and Finland that are going to play each other. So you do look for cities, and there are only a few that could support an event of this magnitude and support those other games as well. And Boston is absolutely one of them. Hockey crazed, puts on an amazing event whenever there's a big event, whether it's a hockey game or a basketball game or just a concert. The facility is first rate, easy. I mean, for us, it just makes all the sense in the world. Our partners with the NHLPA, they have a little Boston in them, as you may know. So all of these factors led to what we think is a no-brainer, a great decision. And we're watching, as ticket sales have started, and they will continue, as you mentioned. There's some key dates coming up. that where tickets will be on sale to the public. I do think we've seen the support. It's exactly what we thought it would be. There are tickets that are still left, but at the same time, we knew that Boston would come out and support this event in as big as they have, and we expect it to be a great event and a highlight of our season for sure, and certainly a highlight in Boston.
Steve, when are those games in Boston, and where do you get tickets?
So the games in Boston will be on Monday. The first of the games is on Monday.
17th. Yeah.
On the 17th.
Yeah.
On 17th. And then we're off Tuesday and Wednesday uniquely. The final will be in Boston on Thursday. It'll be broadcast also on ESPN. The tickets are available at NHL.com /4nations. Ticketmaster also is a place to always go for tickets. And again, you could buy tickets individually to all these games. There's some great matchups. The final, you don't know who's going to be in the final. I think I'm watching so many different people prognosticate and predict. And I'm actually surprised that, people aren't automatically saying, oh, it's going to be the USA versus Canada. And I'm probably alongside them. There's such quality hockey all around the world, great players from Sweden, great players from Finland. It's going to be really interesting to see who's in the final and who eventually wins Four Nations.
So basically, you're going to find out who's on these teams right after the GMs make their decision, right? You're going to be the first guy that knows. So if we want inside scoop on Thanksgiving, I'm not eating till 6 o'clock or whenever, maybe next Monday, Steve. I'll give you a call. We'll bring you up on morning.
That was going to be my next question. So who are the teams? Because you might have a little insight for us.
You're getting nothing out of me. Nothing. And I will also say, if you guys do, find out, do me a favor, just keep it to yourself.
You have my word.
Yeah, every report, everybody's got to put out this.
We're not scoop guys. We're not scoop guys.
Well, good enough. So but yeah, we'll find out. Just so you know, the teams do need to be submitted this weekend and actually through Monday. And it's a real. I would love to be in the room when some of these decisions are made and some of these discussions are made. I think it's really compelling. And, I love reading, everybody who is trying to make their best guess of who's going to make the teams. But I do think it's really hard to come up with, especially those last few that make the team. Those will be tough decisions.
Always, yeah, and obviously Bruins connection there is at Don Sweeney. I would say heavily involved is under understatement.
Yeah, and the fact that Charlie and Brad have already made the team. Mm-hmm. And I would think that there will be many other Bruins that will find their way on these teams. Obviously so many great quality players. It'll be interesting to see how they sort of divide between 32 teams and all over the country. There's no obligation, unlike an all-star. So everybody knows, unlike an all-star where we do pick one player from each team, and that's something that's a league mantra. That's not the case or necessary here. So it'll be interesting to see how things are distributed or players are distributed from team to team.
Yeah, it'll be great. And one more time, NHL, where'd you sit for tickets? One more time. And do you have special deals or fun stuff coming up with Black Friday, anything like that? Or any, do you have stuff for the fans?
So we have a special holiday offer.
Okay.
There's no fees on tickets that are purchased from the 28th of November through December 2nd. There's a promo code that's SNOWFEES, SNOWFEES.
Okay.
Maybe somebody knows it's supposed to snow this weekend. And so you visit if you need more information and you weren't writing down what I just said, NHL.com /4nations for more details. And again, the Boston ticket is also there's a doubleheader on President's Day. So most folks are off that day and kids are off. And so what a great way to spend the day.
So we go from the bean pot, the first Monday, the second Monday, and then the third Monday is the Four Nations. You want to talk about Monday mania in Boston for hockey. This is just unbelievable stuff.
That's actually interesting. Yeah. You know what? I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, you could really
got people on schedule for Monday nights. So you get
every Monday. What are you doing? Listen, there's a lot of great hockey, as I said, in Boston. And if you're a fan, what a year. What a year. Yeah. Although I would hope you all hope that your Bruins turn it around. But there's plenty of season left, and so much season left. And by the way, when we get into this part of the season, that's when it really gets going and becomes super exciting. So, this is going to be a great year. And Four Nations is just one part of it, but it's something that we're very much looking forward to.
As we are too. And we appreciate you having a couple of minutes to come on. Steve Mayer, his official title, President, NHL Content and Events. But again, whenever I see this guy, it means that we are having fun. So President of Fun for the NHL. I know you work your ass off. I know your crew does too for all these events and long nights and early mornings, but I don't know, man, you're always having fun. So you're the chief content guy of fun. How about that?
If we didn't do something that we love to do, and I'm just honored and blessed that every day I get to go to work and have fun and create memories. And that's, it's pretty special. And thank you for having me on, and happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. That's Steve Mayer, President, NHL Content and Events. Razor, you and I will be back. We're going to do a very quick turkey brew. I don't know if it even makes sense, but whatever. What the hell? We're going to do it tomorrow morning after the Bruins play on Long Island. They play the Islanders. Technically, it's not even on right now, right? Or whatever. I don't remember where the year. Long story short, you and I are doing something in the morning. We're going to do a 20-minute brew. We're going to get it done. We're going to talk about the Bruins and Islanders. And then we're going to remember, folks, Friday or Saturday, we have a special centennial brew coming out for the Boston Bruins Centennial. It's an awesome show. Three players. You're going to love it. It's going to be a ton of fun. We will talk to you again after tomorrow's game. Everybody hang in there. Right? The Bruins lose one to Vancouver. Look to get back on track against the Islanders. Go out. Enjoy your day. It's almost Thanksgiving. And because of that, enjoy your coffee.